What is your promise? Why are you in business? How do you expect to grow?
This is The Hook, a show focused on branding, marketing, and business development.
You brand to inspire, not to sell.
Jason Arsmont, the marketing maverick, gives expertise to business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in building a stronger company brand.
Creating a brand is like telling a story. You've got one shot to say it all.
When your marketing works, you've got them on the hook.
Hey, what do you know? We're back on this weekend. This is The Hook with the marketing maverick. That's Jason Arsmont. And this is being brought to you by Brightbox Brand Marketing. We talk about them a lot because, that's where we work.
Yeah, and they sponsor the show.
They sponsor the show. And how do they sponsor the show? Because, we work there. You have some kind of deal set up, right?
I guess there's a deal. I own it, and they say that we can take off to come do the show.
Well, there you go. That works.
So it works out pretty good. Brightbox Brand Marketing. Check them out online, brightboxonline.com. Full-service brand marketing firm. So everything from marketing strategy to implementation and web, graphic design, video production, all the implementation of those campaigns into social media, direct mail, you name it. They do it all, and they do a great job.
And if you would like to sponsor, you could bump Brightbox out of this spot.
It's bumpable.
Just
it's totally
saying.
bumpable. Yeah, this could be you we were talking about right now and having you on the show as a guest.
And you can reach us. You just look us up on the website, thehookradio.com.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little insight. And something else that you can find on thehookradio.com is all of our old interviews, our past interviews, I will say. And this is not an old show. This is 22nd, 23rd episode, something like that. So you could listen to all the past episodes. Last week had a pretty good interview.
We did. I mean, Carl Lewis talking about the mindset of a champion.
Dude, it's hard to believe. Carl Lewis came in here
in
and
studio. That was
hung out
that was fun, huh?
for half an hour, 45 minutes, and just chilled and talked about business and branding. And
I was really surprised at how much kind of business insight he had. I mean, he was definitely much more of a business person or personal brand guy than he was an athlete. I mean, obviously, he's extremely talented. He won.
Yeah, I don't know when you have that many.
But
that
you
many
always kind
medals
of
at your
wonder.
house?
You wonder if was some of the professional things he did with his brand, were those intentional? And for him, 100%. I mean, it's really impressive what he did and how systematic he went about managing his brand.
There's a lot of Olympians that you don't remember. A lot of them that even won gold that you don't remember who they are. He has been relevant since he hit the games.
Yeah.
And
well,
continues.
I think he played over 5 Olympic Games. I mean, that's 20-something years of being relevant that's a long time. That's
But whenever he shows up, even to the Olympic Games that are coming up during the summer, whenever he shows up, people want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And they want to know what he's doing now.
Well, he's always been good with that personal brand. He's extremely opinionated. He throws his comments out there. He's got objections to certain things that are going on. He'll talk about athletes. And, it's a good way to look at yourself as a business and a brand. And you have to be doing that. If you want to be relevant, you have to be giving content. You have to be sharing ideas and, your perspective on things. Otherwise, you kind of fall into the background like a lot of these other athletes.
It actually goes along with the attitude, too. There are a lot of athletes that don't really want to be in that spotlight anymore. They just want to be out of it, and they don't. And then they have some kind of idea of something that they want to put out, something that they want to put their brand behind. And it just doesn't transition.
It's too late.
Because they haven't built that. And he's done a really smart thing of keeping his name and the legacy behind him going with different things that he's started up, especially the things that are on the horizon. I don't want to get too much into it, but there are a lot of things coming your way.
Yeah,
with,
we're going to have him
Carl
back
Lewis.
in here in the next few weeks, maybe month or so. He's got some new stuff that he's going to be launching. So we're excited to have him as a guest and have him come back. But definitely go to thehookradio.com and check out those. And last week's show was talking about the mindset of a champion. What does it really take mentally to become successful, and then how to continue to produce once you reach that certain level of success. And kind of going in line with that mindset of a champion, I want to remind everyone about Ken Myers. We talked about him a few weeks ago. This is a veteran who is trying to raise awareness and money to help support those who are struggling with PTS. and he's actually marching 628 miles around Texas. I think he's starting from like Houston up to the Hill Country and then back down to Galveston. I love these kind of things where people sacrifice themselves and their time, their physical abilities to raise awareness and, help other people. And so I want to show him as much support as we can. If you go to lonesurvivor.com and click on events, you'll see his efforts there. And I encourage you guys to go support him, send him a couple bucks. I love those kind of things, man. It's a great cause. And then I guess other kind of relevant news last weekend. I mean, it's a little belated, but Josh had a work anniversary.
I know. It's amazing how we came into the day. I thought that you forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you walked in, you handed me new business cards that said that I was VP of the company now, and I got this huge raise. It's weird. That's all. Thank you. That's all I can say is thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that didn't happen, but I'm sowing the seed right here. Okay, I'm just trying to.
It was like that holiday party gift you were sowing around Christmas time.
You don't know unless you ask.
There you go.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is a chance, man. You've been great to work with, and it's really been an honor working beside you over the past 2 years and seeing the increase in productivity and morale around the office. Just having you there, it's just been unbelievable. And clients are thrilled, and your results are going through the roof. I've never seen ROI, and yeah.
Keep it up.
Anyways, thanks a lot, man.
No, you don't have to end right there. You can keep going. Okay, we actually have more to get to besides just me. I know this show could be just about what I do, but let's not do that, okay?
Yeah. Well, we have another special guest. She's not on the mic, but I've got my lovely wife in studio with me today. There's no better way to start the day. Driving around town, running errands, coming to the studio. The whole day's brighter. She won't make eye contact with me now because she thinks I'm going to ask her to say something, but I won't. Thanks for being with me, babe. All right, so we're talking today about, I came across an article earlier this week, or maybe the week before, that kind of reminded me of how much as marketing people we take for granted. I think there's so many little nuances that we do or that we have an understanding of as marketing people that maybe we don't convey all that well to our clients and to other people that are trying to get into the business. We build a site and deploy marketing programs, and sometimes I think just like the basic tools, right, are overshadowed with kind of just the focus on growing the business or getting leads. And so I came across this article written by Frog Dog. That's right, Frog Dog. It's great. It's a great local agency, a marketing strategy firm here in Houston. I believe it's frogdog.com. You can check them out. And it was a very simple read, just a great article. It was titled Tips for Creating a Website for Lead Generation. So it's all about building a website for a different purpose. So many times people build websites and they're just like an online brochure or, to support the sales team. This was specific for lead generation, and it kind of hit me like, man, I wonder how many of our guests probably don't even understand the difference between a website for lead gen versus, a typical, maybe more informative website. When you start looking at the quality of the website, how well it's built, the intentional content, optimizing the customer journey, studying what happens on your site, and then repeating that effort again and again and again. So I want you guys to go check out that website and check out that article if you can.
It's actually frog-dog.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, frog-dog.com.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, great group here in town, great article, and they always have good stuff that's coming out, good content. I don't support a lot of agencies, but they do solid work. And
videos,
yeah, they're good.
Ooh, we should look at these so we can spruce up our videos that we have on our website a little bit.
Yeah, so, this article, I'm thinking, so what I want to focus on today in this show is giving you guys some resources and kind of an inside look at the tools that we use as an agency to track, to better communicate, to make things more efficient, to get more out of our efforts as a team. And so coming up in the next segment, we're going to share with you some of those tools and some of those tips and what makes Brightbox tick.
So you're giving away some of our secrets.
I'm not going to tell you exactly how we do those things, but I'm going to share those tools with you so you can go investigate them. And, hey, if you got questions, go to thehookradio.com, shoot me an email. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions and get you set up.
We have the newsletter there. Mm-hmm. We also have your chance to ask any questions, like Jason just said. past episodes. We talked about that earlier. A lot of good information. And there's links to all the different parts that make this radio show tick, which happen to be Brightbox and OntoBox and Shadowbox, Showbox, all of the different box companies that make this happen every single week.
Yeah,
so go and check
absolutely.
that out. TheHookRadio.com. We'll be right back on The Hook.
Well, early this morning it dawned on me.
We're having a little day after April Fool's party right here on The Hook. Did you do anything April Foolish yesterday?
No. I can't say that I did.
Okay, so this is the kind of people you get on April Fool's Day. The ones that say, I'm pregnant, and everybody's like, no, you're not. It's just kind of a stupid joke by now. Because we've all heard that one. And then the other one, I'm moving. Well, I'm getting a divorce.
Or I got a job in Kuala Lumpur.
I just won the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get all that. That's Jason Archmont, the marketing maverick.
Totally relevant. Good stuff.
I totally love April Fool's Day. I think it's like the stupidest thing ever. Because I don't.
Why can't we just fool people any day? Why
I
does it have to be,
do. I would never do anything on April Fool's Day because it's so hokey.
Are you fooling me right now? Is this
A little.
a non-April Fool's?
This is setting up next year.
This is a long setup.
This segment brought to you by OnToBoxTraining.com.
OnToBox Training is powerful training for professional people. This is our corporate training group. We just finished up a cool event over at the Work Lodge this past Wednesday titled How Businesses Can Capitalize on an Election Year. So we've got that up on our website. If you want to get some information and some tips on how you can capitalize and help grow your business during this time of election craziness, go to OnToBoxTraining.com. Great company.
You can also reach it on TheHookRadio.com.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Just that's like your one-stop shop right there.
Pretty much everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everything, everywhere.
So now we have the business tip.
We're going to talk about tools of the trade. And so I'm going to go through a few of these. And then later on, I guess in the next segment, we've got Peter Dennis with Oracle Marketing Cloud.
Okay.
And this is a extremely robust cloud-based marketing solution. I mean, he's going to go through it with us because there's so many things inside Oracle that you're probably thinking, Oracle, isn't that like big software, big company solutions? Not necessarily the case. They've got some really cool tools that we can use as small businesses, as marketing departments. And so, yeah, I haven't personally used it. Talked with him a little bit about it and was kind of blown away by the features and some of the capability he was telling me. So I said, man, you know what? We're going to do a show this weekend. Why don't you come in and share a little bit about that with us? So he's going to be in studio coming up in the next segment. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Excellent.
So some of these tools of the trade. So one of the very first things I always recommend, and I kind of take for granted, and a lot of clients are still just figuring it out, is Google Analytics. All right. If you've got a website and you're monitoring, or you need to be monitoring the traffic on that site, there's no better tool than Google Analytics. It's a free thing. You can have your webmaster, your IT guy probably, or Brightbox would be more than happy to install that on your website. It's a free service. You plug in the code, and it gives you data on how many people come to your site, how long they stay on your site,
What pages
they go to, if there's bounce backs, which means they got to your site, they thought it wasn't relevant, and they clicked the back button. So that's kind of an important one. And there's just like probably 100 different ways to measure the traffic and activity on your site with Google Analytics. So it's a great, great starting place just to kind of see what you're currently dealing with, right? Because if you're going to say, hey, we need to increase the traffic to our site, the very first thing I'm going to ask you is, well, how much traffic are you getting? What's your conversion rate, right? How many of those people coming to your site are filling out a form to contact you or are buying something? Until you know those numbers, it's kind of hard to put a marketing program together with any real strategy because you don't know what you're starting with. So first things first, you got to make sure you got Google Analytics and you're getting the right data.
Yeah, and something people don't think about a lot of times is how are you going to judge whether something you put on the homepage is effective or not? Mm-hmm. You might have more people calling, but that's not a real great way to measure it.
Yeah.
If you're putting a CTA, a call to action on the front page, on the homepage of your website, well, you can actually see how much it attracted people to click through to that actual page, that interior page of your website.
Yeah, they even have hotspot tracking, so you can see where the visitor's cursor, their mouse cursor, how long it stayed in certain parts of the website. So visually, if they're hovering over the contact or the Shop Now button for a certain period of time, it'll show, kind of colored hotspots on the design to show you where people are focusing their attention. So definitely get that. The next one, we're start talking about like sending out communication on a regular basis. This is something that we're big fans about. We talked a little bit about it earlier. If you're not conveying your perspective, not giving education and material and ideas to your audience, you are failing when it comes to marketing. And probably one of the best platforms for that is sending regular email distribution is MailChimp. I know there's tons of them out there, and I get stuff from people all the time. Hey, what do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? And to be honest, I haven't dug into all of them, but I have used MailChimp a lot, and we use it as kind of the cornerstone for email distribution in our company, and it seems to work well. We haven't had problems. It allows you to subscribe and unsubscribe and collect data and open rate and click-through rate, and I mean, you name it. It's a fairly robust engine. It's not the cheapest mail distribution platform out there, but honestly, we've got so many lists and database in there, and we've just been happy with the service. So I've never wavered from it. The next part of that is one of the things I'm really pushing a lot right now for marketers to do is integrate surveys into your email, into your communication. Surveys are a great way to get engagement from the consumer, from your audience. I can't remember the statistic now. It's probably on SurveyMonkey, but how many people actually enjoy filling out a survey and feeling like they're now part of that process of educating you on what they do and don't like and what their habits are. And then the data that you collect from that stuff is, it's invaluable. You'll know if they're willing to pay more for a quality product than a lesser quality product. How much more would you be willing to pay? 10, 20, 30%? You may be surprised at what these surveys will produce.
What I want to see is how many people would rather fill out one longer survey as opposed to people that would fill out the shorter surveys, but more of them? Because there are a lot of times, I did a survey not too long ago that was probably 20, 25 minutes.
That's a little long, yeah.
Yeah, and I only did it because it was a special interest group that I wanted to, that I was trying to help them out.
Yeah.
And plus, I got a gift card afterwards. So
that's so funny, man. I started off in working at the Gallup polls, and I would have to call people and go through surveys with them. Well, now it's digital, folks, so you don't even have to call and ask questions and have that whole awkward phone call and asking people their opinions. Send it in an email. You can post SurveyMonkey stuff right on your Facebook and your social media. And like I said, you'd probably be surprised at what the response will be. No more having to use your gut or go shooting from the hip. Let's get the consumer's data straight to you. So SurveyMonkey is a great one. Create your own surveys and send them out. If you're talking about how to manage all of your social media, this is one of the ones I get a lot is, man, I've got a Facebook and I got an Instagram, I got a Twitter, I want to be on Quorum, whatever it is. How do we do all these different things? Well, a really good platform to manage all those things is a platform called Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE.
It's very good. We've used it at the radio stations here for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Because the amount of stuff that are put on radio station websites, the amount of posts, it can get out of hand. And if you have to put them on every different social media platform individually, it would just take all of your time.
Yeah.
Hootsuite takes it all out of your hands and does it for you.
Yeah. So basically, you're able to go on, you register your accounts into one Hootsuite account, and you can make one post, and then you select the platforms you want that one post to go to. So you could have one post is the same across all platforms, or you can select, how to change them up. You can stage them, so you can preload posts for the whole week, whole month if you want.
Which is great. Whenever you're doing things, you set up your marketing calendar, and then you put it on Hootsuite, and it spits everything out for you.
Yeah. So another one, I know we're going to have Peter's coming in here in just a little bit, so I want to get a couple more of these in. AdSense. If you guys aren't familiar with AdWords, Google AdWords, remarketing, retargeting, if you're not involved in that and you have an e-commerce store or you have a website where you're really trying to convert traffic, you need to go check that out. If you need help navigating through that, kind of making sense of what pay-per-click is, what AdWords are, go to thehookradio.com, shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to talk through it. Maybe we even do a whole show on it one day. I've got a friend over at Google that can probably come on and give you guys a lowdown, because there's a lot there. It's a little intimidating. But
you ever wonder how the companies find you that you do searches for on Google? This is part of it.
Right. Yeah, you kind of have your organic search that Google naturally pulls up the best ranked, but then you can beat that organic out by having pay-per-click or having some ad some advertising up there. And there's so much that goes into reading those analytics and understanding what the percentage of clicks are for that word that you're trying to get clicked on and what the conversion rate is. I mean, it kind of takes it down into a science rather than just a gut check thing when it comes to advertising. So I really love it. I love using it for testing campaigns, for testing billboard concepts. There's all different kinds of little tips and tricks and things that you can use with AdWords. So really recommend that one. Man, there's just a whole slew.
Give us one more.
Probably the best one for us that we've started using for managing our programs is Basecamp. It's a great program. It's free for the most part, depending on how you choose to use it. So it's a content management or more of a project management system. Put in a project, you can add people to the project, create to-do lists, create tasks, share documents. I mean, it kind of changed our world when we got on there.
Yeah, we had a pretty standard way of doing things, which was on paper, and then we converted some of that to our CRM. But this really opens up the lines of communications. And I feel like a lot of people, they do most of their communications within the office on email. It takes everything out of email, frees up your email, frees up that space, as well as gives you pretty much a chain of command and telling you, okay, this has to be done, this, and this, all your to-dos on there, your invoicing, whatever it might be. It makes it so much easier. So Basecamp, I would say that's something you want to get on.
Yeah, and I have a feeling our guest coming up, Peter Dennis, is going to be able to answer a lot of these different platforms in one platform, an Oracle Marketing Cloud. He's going to come in and share with us how it works, what it is, how powerful it is, and help get you guys getting the most out of your marketing efforts.
All right, he's right up next, coming up on The Hook.
Darling, you know it's true. The rumor you heard about me loving you.
Coming right back at it on The Hook with the Marketing Maverick. That's Jason Arsemont. The Hook is where we talk about fishing and tackle. And
no, not again, Josh.
No, I'm sorry. That's not what it is. That's not what The Hook is. It's that magical moment whenever we hook you in. What marketing does and how marketing has changed over the years is amazing, especially with technology and how fast it's going. And that kind of leads into our guest in studio today, I guess you would say.
Yeah, we've been talking about that digital age and all these new tools and resources that are out there to help really make your marketing department run more efficiently and to get better return on it and to have greater visibility to what's really happening and tracking what's going on. And our guest today has got a whole other perspective to this than I do even. His name is Peter Dennis. He's with Oracle Marketing Cloud. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Good
Awesome.
to be here.
Yeah, so I know it was kind of a lame setup, and it was somewhat intentional because I've spent a little bit of time going through Oracle Marketing Cloud's website and getting to know it, and it seems like there's a lot there. Probably covers a lot of some of the folks that we talked about in the last segment. And so I want to talk with you a little bit, let you kind of explain maybe at a high level, and then we'll drill into some of the tools or modules, if you will.
Excellent.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So maybe give us a little introduction, what Oracle Marketing Cloud really is.
So great. Yeah. So thanks for having me again. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about Oracle and the Oracle Marketing Cloud. So Oracle Marketing Cloud is actually a pretty new business unit for Oracle. It's only 3-4 years old. Started out, as Oracle does with many of their business units, as an acquisition-based business unit, acquired, looked to get into marketing and marketing automation, and started acquiring several different businesses. Mm-hmm. And the landscape for marketing technology and marketing automation is vast and wide. Several thousand different applications that you can use from a tool set for your marketing group. So Oracle came into this and said, well, we want to jump in and be part of this, and so we're going to go out and acquire a series of best of breed products, and that's what they did.
So what they have now is basically an accumulation of what they thought was maybe the best applications for certain ways of tracking or implementing or doing whatever.
Exactly. So it started from sort of the very beginning of this of what you would consider the series of different platforms. So one side of the spectrum to the other. So data all the way to analysis is kind of how we look at it. So there's a wide spectrum of tools in between there for marketing.
And if you're at home or you're by your computer and you're listening, you can go to oracle.com/marketing cloud. and that'll take you to the site with a pretty good overview. It's got some good visuals. You can tell they're kind of marketing-minded folks here. This is different than maybe the typical Oracle that you might be thinking too, right?
Right. Not your father's Oracle.
Yeah. And maybe just so our listeners know whether they should keep listening. I mean, I know probably one of the bad things about Oracle in my mind is I always think that it's bigger than I can use. Is that the case with this platform? Is it kind of available for small to mid-sized folks getting involved too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's certainly our target. Our target is to provide a platform that's affordable, manageable. Obviously, everything is SaaS-based, so it's very easy to deploy and implement. And our goal is SMB all the way up to enterprise. And you're right. A lot of companies or a lot of individuals that are with companies think about Oracle and they think enterprise. They think database, hardware, major applications, major business applications, and certainly they are all that. But our division as a sort of a separate business unit is really more focused on the full gamut of customers.
Has that been hard to overcome whenever you're thought of as such a big company, and then you have something else that is a separate platform to push out the brand as the same but different?
That's a good point. I think a lot of the acquisitions that we go through on the marketing space are brands. And so people have familiarity with those brands. For example, Eloqua is a brand that I sort of focus on mostly as a campaign management tool. A lot of people know Eloqua. I mean, a lot of businesses know Eloqua, and they know what Eloqua is all about, and they know what it is as an opportunity and the affordability of Eloqua. So we sort of manage that brand and move it to Oracle, so it's Oracle Marketing. But we also try to keep that at the forefront also because people understand those brands and the importance of those brands.
Well, that's probably a good place to start then. I mean, if that's where you spend a lot of time, maybe let's dive into a couple of these modules and give the listeners an idea of what some of the functionality or some of the capability is with what is available here on the Marketing Cloud for Oracle. Start with one of those. Tell us a little bit. What's a good entry point for somebody that's doing marketing? Maybe they've got a budget. They're doing social media, some ads. Where's a good place to start with engaging with Oracle to make life a little better?
Sure, yeah. So Eloqua is our cross-channel campaign management tool. And so if you think of your standard industry ESP or email service provider, Eloqua is that, although it's what I would call enhanced from that. It allows you to manage your digital marketing landscape kind of from end to end. There are obviously other parts of Oracle Marketing Cloud that hook into that, but as a starting point, Eloqua is a great and affordable tool to help you not only manage email, but it'll help you manage your digital messaging, whether it's through your website, on a landing page, data. We have a lot of customers that primarily use Eloqua, even more so than a CRM, for example.
Interesting. Okay. And so it sounds like maybe even for if you have multiple different campaigns going on, or for like an agency, if we have multiple different clients, would they all plug into that in the same way, and you could manage messaging and see data on different sites and different pages and
absolutely.
Okay.
So multiple campaigns. We took an approach with Eloqua, or I should say Eloqua took the approach early on, and we talk about the campaign canvas, and the campaign canvas is essentially a whiteboard. Marketers love whiteboards, right? Just throw stuff up on the whiteboard and let's start hooking ideas together and talking about what kind of messaging we need to utilize, what's important, who are we going after, what is the persona we're trying to reach.
Right.
And so on that whiteboard, we call our campaign canvas essentially the whiteboard. So if you look at it from an application, there's a whiteboard on the left-hand side are all your assets and decision steps, and you can just drag and drop stuff over, and then you manually connect them, point and click and connect. So very simple interface. And
interesting.
And the focus is to make it easy for marketers, because we don't want to get them bogged down. We don't want everybody to get bogged down on the tools.
Right.
We want everybody to focus on your business
and
making sure that it's successful.
Yeah, and I know that's the case. A lot of times, we've got several different marketing strategists and account managers on staff at Brightbox, and sometimes just going and trying to collect all the data from all of the different sites that we use and the different tools that we use. I mean, that's almost a full-time job when you're managing several different campaigns, and then you're trying to read that data and how it compares to itself. It can get overwhelming.
Absolutely. And then sorry.
No, good. Yeah.
Then you throw in, if you're trying to manage social channels, for example, and people don't necessarily always think of social channels as an opportunity to generate business or leads. It's almost thought of as, well, we just have to be there because everybody else is there. But it's important now in the age that we live in. And marketing is totally different than it was 10 years ago. And people want to be told the story. Yep. They want to hear what's important to them, when it's important to them, at the right time, essentially.
Right. And I guess, so whenever you talk about the whiteboard and you're putting ideas and you're doing stuff, so what's happening then? Is it just kind of like you're collecting thoughts on what messaging should be, or is it reading that data that you're putting on that whiteboard somehow? What exactly is going on there? Is it just a creative whiteboard for visual purposes? Or?
Well, no. So that's a good point. It's actually the creation of a campaign. So you really start with a segment, and the segment might be data. I want to reach this group of people, and you create that segment, and it may be a database of people that you have, maybe a database of people that you're trying to reach.
Okay.
So the data is critical. Obviously, you want to make sure that's appropriate. And then from there, it's just a series of different steps. Okay, with this particular segment, I want to create a campaign that's going to offer them a promotion, for example, or maybe it's going to tell them about a new store that we have opening, or maybe about a new product that we have that's really important that they might want to engage with. And those decision steps you create, and the whiteboard shows you different tracks that essentially is the journey, if you will, of certain different sets of people from that segment. So if I respond to your email, I might go into one bucket. If I don't respond to your email, I might go down this other track to get another sort of
so it's kind of like a modern day drip campaign. I mean,
exactly.
So if they say yes, we're going to do this series of automated things. If they say no, we're going to do this series, and then I guess really you're kind of A/B testing campaigns too to see what you get the most return out of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have the A/B testing capability that's built in there, and that we always talk about that. It's critical, depending upon the product and the situation in the campaign. But certainly, unlimited campaigns in a product like Eloquent, unlimited opportunities to drop them into different nurture components within the campaign.
Man, that's awesome. That's one of the things I talk about a lot, and we're huge in implementing it at our marketing firm is kind of A/B testing. I mean, whether it's an e-blast, it's an ad that's going out, or it's a pay-per-click or an image or something on Facebook, you don't really know the results of that campaign until you change up some of the messaging a little bit, till you change up some of the visuals a little bit. And to have something like that, because I'm looking at Josh too, I don't think we have a platform that easily allows us to do that and then track the kind of the conversion rate.
Easily? No, not easily. No.
Yeah, that's kind of Josh's nightmare whenever we first get campaigns going. We'll have 3 or 4 different versions of the exact same campaign trying to see, okay, which one's going to yield the highest return, so then we can kind of double up on that one that is the best. To be able to see seamlessly how each of those are doing and then have the different steps automated all on one platform is huge.
Yeah, and so I think the automation part is really key because, as Josh saying, you don't have the resources, you don't have the capability or the resources to be able to manage all these different types of steps and processes throughout a specific nurture. And then you say, well, let's do 50 different campaigns. Let's automate them. Let's do them at different times of the year because we know those are going to be important. And one of the things we like to talk about also is the monumental amount of data. Everybody talks about data. I mean, for example, the Internet of Things. I mean, how much data are we collecting in our home? How much data are we collecting in our car? Everywhere on our phones, we're collecting data. And that, from a marketing perspective, is just like a big, huge bucket of gold.
Yeah.
Really. So
'cause that data typically costs you a lot of money to go out and buy.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just in the framework of I'm a small business, I'm trying to reach different people, and this is the persona I want to reach. It's all there, and finding it is critical. But managing it and reporting on it and seeing what's most useful for you as a business are all big parts of those different steps.
Absolutely. We're talking with Peter Dennis from Oracle Marketing Cloud. Check them out at oracle.com/marketing cloud. We've got more about this platform and some of the other tools. I think we've just hit the tip of the iceberg here with what it can do and all the different options. So we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, I want to say this before we go, though. I've been looking at the website. You know what I love about the website or this this extension of the Oracle website is the fact that you have everything there and it makes sense and it's simple. because that's
Yeah.
the one thing
Yeah, but
that
there's many different things as they do. They broke it up into great little CTAs and buckets of
absolutely, which the CTA is.
call to action.
Yeah, we don't want to get too wordy here. You know, we start using the industry lingo, and then sometimes it doesn't convert in people's minds. But that it's not so text heavy that you don't understand and you're talking over anybody's head. It's very simple and put there and just classifying the different areas that makes it simple. I love that. I love that about a website. So that's great. We'll talk more about this coming up in just a few minutes. We'll take a quick break. Right back here on The Hook. Talking about marketing and the way it's changed so much, even in the past 10 years. This is The Hook with the Marketing Maverick. That's Jason Arcemont, great guest that we have in studio today.
Yeah.
In fact, are you friends? He has these great friends in the business that I don't ever get to meet until they come in
Professional
studio.
contacts is what we like to call
the
them.
networking part. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
we've got Peter Dennis with us today. He's with Oracle Marketing Cloud. If you want to get in touch with Peter, go to, or you can email him at peter.c, as in cat, and then peter.c.dennis, DENNIS, at oracle.com. Or you can reach him at the office at 713-275-7882. 713-275-7882. And then oracle.com/marketing cloud.
Yes.
So those are all the bases. I think we covered everything.
That's
and
it.
they're on
That's
social
great.
media. You can go to all the normal social medias, put in Oracle Marketing Cloud, and they'll pop up. You can follow them and see all the latest stuff that they're doing. So we're talking a little bit about the cloud. We're talking about, I think we hit the tip of the iceberg with this campaign component and doing the A/B testing and all these different things that it allows you to do. And I guess one of the questions I had, so what does it talk with? I mean, it sounds like with a program like this, is it other Oracle products that it's talking with, or is it able to talk directly with Facebook and some of the other social platforms and email systems, or is that all additional Oracle products that you guys have?
So it's so from the Oracle Marketing Cloud perspective, we have a series of different products that, as I mentioned, kind of started at Spectrum. A data management platform. We acquired a product called BlueKai a couple of years ago, and so that's what's called the DMP. So we like to say it's sort of data unchained. So if you think about really enhancing your first-party data with third-party data, there's a data marketplace there.
Okay.
You can go in and really build very large and intelligent audience segments. So that's the DMP. And then kind of in the middle are our cross-channel management platforms, Eloqua and Responsys, which are very similar. One's more focused on B2B, one more focused on B2C type of marketing. Social, we have a social relationship marketing SRM tool, which is a series of acquisitions, which will help you listen, publish, analyze all different types of information as it relates to the vast hundreds of different social channels that are available. Everybody thinks, by the way, that well, certainly Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I mean, all those channels, Snapchat, I mean, everything, there's a lot of population around that, but there's also a lot more, and people are out there. There's hundreds of different social channels.
Yeah,
So-
that's so funny because people are always saying, oh, well, we should put all of our effort in making sure that we show up on Google. And I'm like, yeah, you should, right? I mean, they own like 70% of the search volume. But there's a 30% in Yahoo and Bing and some of the other smaller guys that, I mean, think about it. If you were to go capitalize and dominate on Bing, for instance, it might cost you a lot less, and you probably even couldn't handle all of the traffic that's on Bing, right? So sometimes looking at other social platforms or other platforms that maybe aren't the flagship most popular could be a really smart idea to get out there and get exposure on maybe a little bit less money and time and effort and smaller audience.
No doubt. I think it's harder for us as small businesses to pivot from a marketing perspective because you have these different applications and channels that are being built every day, and they skyrocket overnight. There's just millions of people all of a sudden that are part of this, and hey, those are consumers. We want to try to reach those consumers at the right time. So all these different products, Jason, they're all combined and integrated. Oracle has done a very good job of integrating all these products, not just from the marketing side, but certainly all our sort of standard apps platform products. We've got some great integrations across all of our platforms, and so our business suite of products, whether it's financial or human resource, human capital management, enterprise, we've got some great integrations across the whole board. So,
Yeah.
But from a marketing perspective, our stack is really integrated fully together.
Yeah. And then I guess the last kind of bucket that you guys have there, I kind of cut you off on the social marketing part, is the data management platform, right?
Right.
So you're able to pull in data from all of those different sources, as well as any other functionality or modules that you may be using within Oracle into one location. Is that right? So you can see all the data on one report, or what's kind of the benefit behind that?
Yeah,
portion?
so the data management platform, sort of on the front end, really, the DMP is we're building audience segments and effective audience segments.
Okay.
DMPs have been around for a while. Ours is we have really the largest set of unbranded data around profiles, so hundreds of millions of different profiles, and the information that is available for all of us really out there is sometimes scary, but it's definitely something that a lot of companies spend a lot of time on. So they're building data sets of how we browse or how our activity is, purchase activity, everything is all combined, and we build these different branded and unbranded data sets. And that's all part of this really large platform.
And that's something that you subscribe to, or you end up buying that kind of that list or that profile, or how exactly does that work? Because I think that's something a lot. I mean, we run into so many folks that are, especially like consumer folks, they're selling sunglasses, and they're trying to launch a brand, and they think they know who their audience is, but they haven't bought any databases. They're trying to just randomly kind of reach out there. How would maybe use that as an example? How would a company like that benefit from this particular module and this database? It sounds like.
Yeah, so everything from the marketing side for us is subscription based. So it's just like any other platform. You pay a monthly fee basically to subscribe and have access to use the platform, and then the data that's part of that platform. Obviously, there might be some additional costs for that depending upon the type of data that you're looking for. But you can go into the platform and build audience segments, or somebody that's interested in sunglasses. There's a real science behind this, right? It's finding out how to find the people that ultimately are going to buy your sunglasses. What interests them? What is the persona around that? Is it
outdoor
soccer
enthusiasts
moms
or soccer moms,
or fishermen, or whatever? So it's you can build those data sets and then attack effective marketing campaign accordingly.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that's something, again, I'll reiterate. So many times clients come to us and they've got a website and they've been marketing. They've been putting some stuff on social media. They've been, trying to do some pay-per-click or some Google ads, but they haven't really developed who that target audience is. They're just like, well, everybody needs sunglasses. It's like, you can't afford it to market to everyone. So let's narrow that down. Yeah, is it the NASCAR guy? Is it the soccer mom? Is it, whoever that may be? And so kind of going through a process that we do at Brightbox, which is called a brand mapping process, can help narrow that down. And then sounds like the tools here at Oracle Marketing Cloud are just unbelievable with the wealth of resources and data that you're able to use.
Yeah, and then one thing I think you may be getting to here is reporting and analytics, which is really a critical part of this whole component in marketing. And marketers traditionally haven't had the seat at the table, in the boardroom, because it's really, okay, well, you guys are the spend. We're going to spend to build our brand, and we have to create this awareness. And but we're not really sure how to drive ROI against that type of spend. Well, now with all these tools and technology, that's available. So you can actually go in and say, look, our campaign was effective. We drove this amount of revenue. Here's the ROI from our campaign against the actual business side of things, which is really, really important. And I can't stress that enough to a lot of our customers.
Yeah, we're huge on the ROI component, and we talked about it at the beginning of the show, is getting data before you start a campaign, so you know what you're starting with, right? So hey, we've increased web traffic by this much, we've increased conversion rates by this much, we've increased shopping cart exchanges by this much, or contact us forms by this much, and having that type of data allows you to put some sort of ROI to, hey, we spent $5,000 to make that happen, or we spent $500 to make that happen, and then be able to break that out and go backwards from there. We're talking with Peter Dennis from Oracle Marketing Cloud. So what's something else that what's another big feature or something that you see a big takeaway that some clients have found to be they can't live without once they start using it?
One of our other products that's part of our whole platform suite is a product and an acquisition called Compendium, which is a content marketing application. Okay. Small application, but it's I say small. Very helpful in sort of aggregating and scoring content. So like all the other data we're talking about, the acquisition of data from all different data sources, and the fact that the amount of data that is available now is going to only increase by 50-fold, I think is what they say, in the next 5 years.
Oh, that's it.
10 years.
Yeah, just 50-fold.
No biggie.
It's just crazy. So the Compendium is another. I think of it as a nice add-on to Eloqua, where we connect, and you can aggregate content inside of this platform, attach it to certain personas, score it. It'll actually, this application will score that content for you, and then automate it along with your platform. So again, if we have some content as a company that's used a lot, FAQs or maybe other information about the business, if we can get into a ritual about storing that content in a repository that's important and effective for the business, this is a great application for that.
Man, we're talking about smart marketing, folks. Stop shooting from the hip and then saying that, hey, marketing didn't work or that campaign didn't work. I get that so many times. I'm like, well, it may not have worked because you didn't implement it right. Not to be rude or disrespectful to you, Mr. Client, but what wording did you use? What type of imagery did you use? How often did you send it? How big was the list that you sent it to? This is a platform that allows you to do that, take your marketing to the next level and start being more strategic and detail-oriented with how you're deploying it.
Is there anything next for you? If you're thinking about what's beyond this, because you're always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, or can we even know about it?
Yeah, so that's there are a lot of really smart people at Oracle that spend a lot of time thinking about what's next. As you can imagine, Oracle is an acquisition-based company, and our group fortunately has had a lot of focus for the really smart people at Oracle. So, Datalogix. Many people know Datalogix as a company that aggregates data, offline data. That was an acquisition about a year ago. So there's quite a bit of focus on data. Again, as we've sort of been talking about here.
Yeah, understanding, interpreting it's going to be the future for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about marketing and all the technology, there are these posters, I guess, they're thrown out and around. You can find them on the internet that show all of the different marketing applications that are available.
Yeah, I've seen those.
There's a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And so whether you're listening on social or publishing or analyzing or managing content or campaigns, I mean, there's subcategories and there's dozens of different applications in these subcategories. The average mid-sized company has about 17 different applications. Wow. All of which have siloed data, so they're not interconnected and speaking with one another. So what's next? I think, who knows? I mean, but it's whatever the consumer asks for, really, and whatever the market is driving.
Yeah, I love it. Well, again, we're talking with Peter Dennis. This is with Oracle Marketing Cloud. You go to oracle.com/marketing cloud. You can read all about it and see everything. You can reach out to Peter by going to peter.c.dennis@oracle.com is his email. Or you can always just go to thehookradio.com. We'll post something up about him and give you guys all his contact information.
In fact, if you missed any part of this interview, you can always go back and listen. We post it every week. Reach out to us on thehookradio.com for the newsletter. Any questions that you have on next week's episode, or maybe if Peter, you have a question for him that you want to pass along through us, we'd love to answer it that way too, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, thanks for being on with us. We're going to be back right here next week. Right?
Yeah. Next week, we got Russell Granger, author of 7 Triggers to Yes. Homework assignment, get the book, read it, show up next Saturday, be prepared to learn about sales.
Sounds good. That's Jason Arsmont, the Marketing Maverick. See you next week on The Hook.